Boom! Welcome to Power of Marvel Legends, the YouTube channel where we review every single one of the very articulate, highly posable, incredibly sought out action figures known as Marvel Legends.
I'm Flinkman, and I'm like that 2015 Walgreens Marvel Legends exclusive you keep finding while hunting for X-Men figures that no one asked for, and I'm never going away.
This is Jason, aka Nerd Alert Cosplay, and I am begging America Chavez to take me to an alternate universe where all my Cyclops figures are not on the Bucky Cat mold.
My name is Michael Hamm, and on the back of my trading card, there's no bio.
I'm Michelle, and I'm just a girl standing in front of a Target, wishing it was a Toys R Us.
Shout out to the Powers of X-Men podcast, Dayspring and Flinkman.
We're here to discuss our top 3 favorite Marvel Legends of all time. And the only criteria was it had to be a Marvel Legends figure. And it could be anywhere from Series 1 Toy Biz all the way through the Excalibur box set or the Marvel Legends Siren that's shipping now. And I want to ask you guys, what were your own personal criteria in selecting your top 3? Were you objective? Were you subjective? Was it about like molds? Was it about paint apps? Was it about like having a character that we never had before?
I tried to encompass all of those things. I definitely redid my list several times. Well, my top one I feel like stayed, but my second and third choice, like I wanted to make sure that I selected one that was like unique, something that we weren't always like getting. Great mold, great paint job. I like deep dive characters, so that also like was one of my factors.
For me, it's a combination of a character I never thought we'd get, so I feel lucky that we had it. Probably new sculpt and a character that I really loved. That was kind of the big combination for me. Also, I'm going to be a size queen, and I love a big chunky figure. So you'll see a lot of plastic, a lot of weight in my top 3.
I'm sorry, are you a size queen?
only with Legends.
Yeah, I mean, kind of the same. I think each figure I picked for different reasons. One is sort of objectively just my favorite legend. One is the legend that kind of just gets me the most excited to sort of look at it and play with it. Phrasing. And my third one is the one that I think like objectively is just like a really great Marvel legend. Like I have no attachment to it necessarily, but I just kind of love the way it looks. And I think the sculpts and everything are beautiful and the paint apps are beautiful.
Honestly, my choices are really character driven. I fully acknowledge that my list is not made up of the most detailed or maybe the most uniquely sculpted or technically cool figures. It's a lot more like, I can't believe we have this character and this look, and it looks so fierce. Like had we done this years ago, 15 years ago, when we were just really getting started with this, and they weren't really making characters that I loved. So I might have been more objective about this is a cool figure versus I love this character, but I just feel so spoiled and so like #blessed by Hasbro. We've just gotten so many things that I never thought we would get. So I'm really here to celebrate those kinds of figures.
I tried to be so objective with mine because all I want to put is Jean Grey, Jean Grey, Jean Grey, and that's it, and call it a fucking list. I literally looked at the figures and I was like, take off your brain and just literally look at this not take off your brain, turn off your heart and objectively look at these figures. So I'm really happy with mine. In fact, I've taken like hundreds of photos of mine because they're here on the desk.
You sent me a picture of them and you were like, objectively, right? These are the best. Objectively. Right?
Objectively, they are. I'm sorry. With that, let's kick off at number 3.
Okay. So yes, I'm being subjective. I have him here. Hold on. So my number 3 is no surprise, Mr. Sinister, and I'm bringing out the one that I have on his throne, which I bought this beautiful throne for him. They just nailed it. I love the way it looks. He's my favorite Marvel character, period. The smile, the makeup, they really got everything right. Brand new sculpt. This could have been a Build-A-Figure and it wasn't. So yeah, number 3, that's all I have to say. The perfect Sinister.
Top 5 for sure for me.
I'm just really glad that this time around, because this was we did get a Toy Biz Legend Sinister that I was never a big fan of. So I was really, really glad this time around that they gave him the maniacal, sinister grin. That really, really made the figure for me. And of course, the enormous cape they got right this time. It's hard as shit to fit him in a lineup with that cape, but I don't even care. It's absolutely perfect.
That wave, you had Boom Boom, you had Cannonball. It's a Wendigo wave, right? Was such a fun wave. And I would have thought like, oh, like that original Toy Biz Sinister that we had was like absolutely perfect. But this one is great. And I hope we get an AOA Sinister with this mold.
Well, I will say I bought 2 and I replaced one of the heads with the old Toy Biz head because I do like his angry face and that kind of angular featured one. So I have 2 on my shelf, one with the old Toy Biz head, one with the new Hasbro head.
Sinister with those like that jawline for days. Yeah, like those cheekbones. Yeah.
Yeah, my number 3 is Shatterstar, which is I love the figure. Like this was the first figure I think for me where I genuinely understood how much effort the team puts into the Marvel Legends. Like during the pandemic, this was the figure I would walk by it in my closet and I would like take it out and I would look at this little like shoulder application that is so well painted and so incredibly detailed, like all the way through. You flip it up, it's detailed on the inside. He's got his little cape moment back here. He's got this beautiful ponytail. Like he's so handsome. The one eye is painted gold and you can barely fucking see the eye at all. They did not have to, but they did. And just, I love him so much. And honestly, the character is great. I'm here for, but like, my other 2 are like characters that are so important to me, and this figure is just, I love it. Like it literally brings me joy for absolutely no reason.
So I think this was like a WonderCon before the pandemic, and I found out that Louis Tan was doing a free signing there, and I had just wrapped filming my Marvel Becoming episode, and while I was doing that, I told Justin, I was like, go find us something for him to sign. And he was like, I think I found a Shatterstar figure, maybe. I didn't even ask the vendor how much it was. I just threw money at him and I left because I needed to go get in this line. And so we got our Shatterstar figure signed by Louis Tan. And he even wrote on there, Louis Tan, Shatterstar.
Amazing. Like you had to put that in a fucking like vault.
I know. It's in a case.
Flink, you're number 3.
So something that we mentioned when we talked to Ryan Ting a while back is that we were both like raised, and we being you and I, Dayspring, we were both raised in that 5-inch era where like 3/4 of the female figures were repaints and mashups of like the 3 female figures that existed at the time. So I've never been super mad about reuse or part sharing in Modern Legends. And it just so happens that like the literal best of those kind of figures also happens to be my literal favorite character in her best costume. So Vintage Dazzler is my 3rd choice in her bright blue costume with the jacket, all of the arcade. I mean, like I said, she's a really simple figure and she involves like Rogue's jacket, Rogue's belt, Scarlet Witch's like hex bolts. But like, what else do you need from this Dazzler look? It has everything you could possibly need. And as much as I was hating on like mint on card collecting, she is the one figure that I have mint on card because we never got a Dazzler in the classic Toy Biz years. And I just can't resist this orange card back with my girl. Finally. So yes, Vintage Dazzler, my number 3 pick.
Well, and Dazzler in the original Toy Biz Wave, who was she a repaint of in the She-4 series? Was it Medusa?
It was Black Cat. It was a black cat head on the Invisible Woman, the clear Invisible Woman body with the Jubilee power effect and the Jubilee snap-on rollerblades, which at the time was mind-blowing. I was thrilled to have her. But looking back, yeah, they kind of did my girl dirty with that, didn't they?
Are we never going to get these again? Like with the plastic going away, like is that retro line just kaput?
They did recent interviews and said, as per compliance with Hasbro, it's going away, but that they will think of a more clever way to deliver retro boxes.
Oh,
okay.
It will not be plastic. Yeah.
Oh.
Well, there we
I
go.
don't know
I mean,
about this.
Michelle's like, I'm done with this. Goodbye.
You know what, Hasbro, you really need to at me, okay? Because we need to talk.
hopefully they can come up with something that satisfies the people and the environment. Fingers crossed.
Michelle, you're number 3.
My number 3 is Endgame Valkyrie.
Tessa
She's
Thompson.
mint in box. Yes. That's one of the reasons why I liked this figure is because she looks so much like the actress.
Oh,
I
she
mean,
looks
she's
great.
gorgeous. She's gorgeous. The more recent one that just came out for Love and Thunder, I just got it, but I like a boss bitch, and Valkyrie is definitely one of those types of characters. So this was the figure that eluded me for a long time, and I randomly found her on Amazon for a fairly affordable price. Her box is a little bit dinged up, but for the older figures, I don't mind.
Well, she looks absolutely wonderful, and she's our fucking king now going into Love and Thunder.
King Valkyrie.
Who's going to be her queen? That's a big question
Ooh.
everyone's been asking. My number 3, I'm kicking it back, old school, Toy Biz, Marvel Legends, Longshot. Stop it, Jason. I see your face right there as I'm trying to pin this. No, I'm sorry. This is a great figure. Objectively, look, they have daggers molded into his calves right there. That face sculpt is beautiful.
No, he's a butterface.
He's not a butterface.
He's not.
Eject. How do I mute you?
Look at those hips, those ball jointed hips. Ugh, I can't even look at him.
No, look at that. He looks so wonderful. He's aged so well. He looks so good. He looks better than Celine Dion, White Phoenix. Okay, come on. I'm sorry. Look at this monstrosity right here. Look at her. Now look at him.
Dazzler thinks he looks great.
Oh.
Thank you.
No, it's not. It's not bad. It's one of the better Toy Biz it's kept. It's
definitely one of the best Toy Biz. It's the only Toy Biz figure that I would still probably display. That's not to say we're not like massively overdue for an update. They could obviously do something much better now, but I have to agree for 2006, whenever that was, they did it. It holds up pretty good.
Look at the seams right there. Look, I'm going to give you, the hair right there. Obviously I don't want to bend it, but like it gets cut off there from the molding, and you can't remove his, I don't know what you call these, but his little things here.
His dagger things.
His dagger things. Like you can't remove that. So obviously we want alt hands and like an alt head. But like I think it's aged well. If we can't get a Longshot figure, because like no one's asking for a Longshot figure. Like
yeah, right.
We're asking.
Hasbro's
just not listening.
And in just our first round here, we have gone through the entire Mojoverse, first family of the Mojoverse.
Number 2, our second choice.
So we go from the butterface to the beautiful face of ShangChi from the comics.
He is a really good figure.
This figure is so sexy, you guys. Like, this is how sexy this figure is. I saw somebody, they swapped the Cyclops, the AOA Cyclops body, or it was the whole box basically, and they put the ShangChi head on it. And I was like, I would buy that figure because he is so beautiful. Like,
it's not even the right figure. He's just so hot. I have to have it.
Yeah, I was like, you know what? That's a sexy ass figure. And look at all these hands he comes with. I mean, he gets so many hands.
So I may have bought in that figure so I can take his hands and put them on the Nate Gray figure so he can hold the Emkron crystal.
See?
The HeroClix Emkron crystal.
These
Wow.
hands work for multiple figures, you guys. I mean,
Multi-purpose hands from the
yes,
Multi-purpose
multi-purpose hands.
Yo.
And look at those abs. Okay, can
I
we-
mean, he has
I
great
mean,
abs.
This is going to sound so creepy. I'm just glad they gave him nipples.
Yeah.
Okay. Because there
Yeah.
have been shirtless male figures without nipples. And that is just, I know
It does-
this
it doesn't
conversation is weird, but that
Did
is
Namor
weird.
have nipples?
No.
He doesn't. I almost
I
picked
also
that figure
saw-
too, and then I decided to go with ShangChi instead.
One of the greatest things I've seen is someone did a whole like swimsuit pinup male figure assortment, and they used a lot of that body and a lot of Namor's body, but it's like all the X-Men and they're like swimsuits and yeah.
Wolverine has
Edition
nipples
box
here.
set.
There we go. Oh,
Look at
Yeah.
Wolverine's nipples there.
Are they molded or are they painted on though?
They look painted. Are his molded?
Shang-Chi's are painted on.
Is this the same?
no.
Can
No.
I just say that I am so happy to be a part of this right now?
Does anyone want to weigh in on the nipples?
Oh my
I feel
god.
like they
Wolverine
should be raised and painted on there. Like we should have both.
Mhm.
Like
I'm here for it.
What did I
Yes.
start?
Well, speaking of what did you start? What's your number 2, Flink?
Okay, so we all knew that this guy was going to show up on my list, just because being a part of his announcement is such a special Legends memory for me.
Richter, awesome 90s Richter design. Shout out to the Powers of X-Men podcast. Dayspring and Flinkman. I believe Flinkman, this was his number 1 wanted X-Men Legends figure to be made.
So my number 2 is X-Force 3-pack Richter. And this figure, honestly, like even if it wasn't like a super nostalgic, amazing memory for me, this still probably would have made my list just because it checks every single box I need a Richter figure to. Like it has the fringe, it has the shoulder pads, the handkerchief, it's got the suede boots with the little stud detailing, it's got the Fabio hair and the like my favorite shade of neon green. This is just a beautiful, well done, overly accessorized in the best possible way action figure of all time.
Wait, can you explain to me the headband situation? In the comics, he does not have a headband, but the Toy Biz 5-inch figure gave him a headband. Am I understanding that correctly?
So the art in those like early issues of X-Force is so fucking inconsistent. Like everybody's costumes are drawn like very differently from issue to issue, sometimes page to page. So sometimes there was a headband, but more often than not, he just had his free flowing Fabio hair. So I'm actually glad that that's what we got.
He might have had it on the trading card, which was kind of used a lot as reference.
Yeah, he might have. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I mean, if you want a headband, easy to just take a Sharpie.
Jason, did you do a Richter cosplay? Am I remembering that?
For a live stream, yeah.
All
A
right.
casual.
Wait, was it for our live stream?
Yeah.
I have no memory of anything.
Maybe it was the Halloween episode.
Oh, it was the Halloween episode.
Yeah.
So my number 2 is the Marvel Legends 2-pack Havok. I mean, listen, I wanted to put Polaris in here too, because I think Polaris looks absolutely wonderful. But in the end, I just get really excited holding this figure. And I know there was a lot of complaint that he had like T-Rex style arms, but I just think he looks so accurate. I was so disappointed when we got the other versions of Havok, especially that Walmart series one, because I wanted his big hair right there. I love the figure. I love the jacket. I think the accessories, though we've seen them countless times, looks absolutely wonderful. It vibes. I love this figure. I remember my local GameStop, RIP, had it in stock, and they did call me. And I went running. I know. I went running there. It's only like a block away. And it was just a really great memory all around. But I do want to give the shout out. His Polaris that he comes with is equally as great. But we have a top 3. We have the assignments. Top 3 had to be Havok right there.
I think you know that if you hadn't put him on your list, he would have been on mine. That figure is a fucking dream come true for me. It is my favorite Havok look. It is executed so well, and never in a million years did I think we were ever going to get anything other than black costume, basic Havok. I never thought we were going to get giant oversized coat over spandex Havok from the 90s, and it's a dream. I love
Look at
him
the
so much.
detail on the jacket. Look at the detail on the
It's
fucking jacket.
beautiful.
I
The
would buy this
90s was
jacket.
a time.
I
It
miss
was
the
it
90s.
was all about that fashion.
I mean,
miss
talk
that.
about making the Bucky cap look special. Like that one did it.
I mean,
will
only
say-
for the best Summers brother.
Oh wow!
Oh, whoa.
Oh,
Adam X is the best Summers brother, period.
I will say I called that a near perfect figure, and the way I fixed it to make it perfect was I stole wristbands off of I think a Deadpool, and I put wristbands around his gloves, and it makes his arms look more proportional.
Oh, you actually did give me that hack when we first started talking. Yeah,
I agree. I think that is the only thing I would say is a miss are the wrists.
his feet are really small too.
Well,
you know.
I mean, you know.
I'm
but the
tired.
90s had small
How about
feet and
That's
big
right.
if they had
everything
feet at all.
Yeah, depending on who's drawing them.
Rob Liefeld, yeah.
I have DM'd Rob Liefeld so much, being like, please come on the podcast.
Please bring all of us.
It's Mike, you're number 2.
My number 2, I feel like is contentious, but I hope it's not. It's the Apocalypse Build-A-Figure.
Not at all.
Not contentious
No?
here.
Not in
Okay,
this
thank
group.
I would have put
God.
it in my top 3, but yeah.
Yeah, no, I think it's got that Sinister paint color, which is like one of the reasons I love Sinister. It's so shiny. The details are like this bitch has so many veins just like over his. I'm looking at it now and I'm like, oh, I didn't see that vein earlier. Oh, I didn't see that vein earlier. Like they're everywhere. The detail on this is unbelievable. I think most of it's new sculpt too. I mean, it's a Build-A-Figure, but like the face sculpt is so beautiful. Like I love that he, for some reason, has an underbite, which I guess makes him look much scarier. And yeah, I'm just very into this figure.
You just did not get that dental work.
Couldn't afford it.
Couldn't afford it after eons of being alive.
Yeah, and I think he's just a really, not to steal Michelle's thing, I think he's a really sexy figure. I think this figure does it for me. And I don't know. I love the size of him too. I think the Toy Biz one's a little too big, especially for displaying.
Oh yeah.
And I think this like nice medium, smaller than Juggernaut, but like, I don't know, bigger than Strife is like a perfect size for him. So I have a few of them too, because
Is it the same? Is it the same mold as this one,
Yeah.
Jason?
I would
Yes,
it is.
assume, yeah.
Mhm. Same base.
I just think he's perfect, and he's my big boy, and I love him very, very much.
He epitomizes that chunky brick of a figure feel that I love.
Yeah, he feels great. And I have him in my House of X display too, because I think he looks close enough if he pre the Egyptian look, but like if he had the little loincloth there, I'm like, one for you, one for the villains, one for the good guys, one for the battle scene.
Apocalypse for everyone.
Yes.
One, you get an apocalypse, you get an apocalypse, you get an apocalypse.
I mean, that just sounds like the last couple of years, honestly.
Oh my
Can
God.
we call him, Michelle, can we call him Big Daddy Apocalypse since we can't say Big Daddy Cable?
I think we should call him Thick Daddy.
Thick Daddy. Big Daddy Apocalypse. By the way, I love that the
Thick
subtext in a lot
Daddy.
of these pics have been us being thirsty for like the character.
I think it says a lot about the group that we have gathered.
Because I'm thirsty.
Well,
as-
you know,
If this was really who we were thirstiest for, like, it's Arcade for me. I don't know what it is about Arcade.
It's the shoes. Those are
Yeah,
some
he's wearing
sexy
Louboutins. Zaddy can afford Louboutins. Like he's like a spoiled rich kid with like Louboutins. Like I'm here for it. Jason, what's your number 2?
All right. We're continuing the trend of villains and big figures. And a figure I never thought they would ever make, and that is I am going with Strife. It is such a gorgeous figure, and they nailed it. There's so many like overlays and new sculpt and every ridiculous thing about his costume they didn't try to skimp on, like the way the cape comes up before it comes down. Yeah, just amazing. And the reason I put it on my list is because Dwight let it slip once in a live stream that he hates this figure, voted against it many times, and still can't believe that they put out such a ridiculous looking thing.
I disagree. It's a
yeah,
gorgeous figure.
And also, he came out before Hasbro started reaching their X-Men stride, because I feel like they reached their stride. The Rogue figure stands out to me, and the Cyclops figure stands out to me as like, oh, they got the X-Men right. Like they're getting them right. This was back in the day when Vampire Jubilee was coming out. Celine Dion. Phoenixes were all we could get. And then this thing was just like this shining gem of like perfection back then. So I have two. I hear it's really hard to get now.
I was going to say, add that to my grail for sure.
Yeah. One of them has a second, I put the cable head on here with the shining eye, and it looks really good.
So yeah, that figure was announced when they announced Danny Moonstar and Rocket Raccoon 90s Jean. And I was so excited. I was like, what kind of era do we live in that we're getting Danny Moonstar, Strife, and a 90s Jean? I mean, and unfortunately, as you said, that was a peak because then the X-Men embargo came into fruition and there were no X-Men Legends for such a long time, except for Baby Spalding.
Wave was amazing. That last wave before the full X-Men embargo came down. I mean, what was it? That was Strife. Was that Revolution Cyclops, X-Force Storm, Build a Figure Jubilee? Who else was in that? It was a really... Oh yeah, it was Magneto. Yeah.
And we had a
really strong lineup.
Yeah, it was a true exclusive.
Yeah. And somebody knew their stuff because he came with a random little gold sword that had a skull on it. And if you go back, it's in Executioner's song when he's whooping Apocalypse. And it was in one frame that he's holding the sword. It's not even his. It's not even named. But they like gave it to him in the box. I thought that was amazing too. So
yeah,
somebody out there loves Strife.
Thank God. that was the end of a really great era with Toys R Us and the X-Men Legends coming out as much as they were. All right, guys, drum roll, please. Our top choice. This is our number one best Marvel Legends. And Mike, we're kicking off with you.
Okay. Number one for me is, I think, more of a passion than a great figure, but I will argue it's a great figure until my dying day. And my number one is the Juggernaut Wave Iceman. He is the figure I have the most of. I think I have 6 or 7 of him. I think the plastic they used is the perfect plastic for Iceman. Everyone who bought the retro carded Iceman that's white tried to figure out some way to give it a blue wash so that it would look better because he looks like a pearl. I like the AOA Iceman, but I think the blue is too blue. So like this is my Bobby for every display that I have. And I know the complaints are like he's gummy, but like I don't know, mine aren't too gummy. He's difficult to pose, I get it. But the sculpt is also beautiful. I love the Spider-Man body. I love what are these little
butterfly joints.
The butterfly joints. They're so perfect. And his face sculpt is like, it's so jagged and perfect. And his little feet are jagged and he's got his little ice toes. Like Bobby is my like number one character. So I know I'm a little biased, but there's no figure I like more than this one. I think I have. This is what I have in my life. So like, there's just never been a good like this Bobby's head. Like
I love that figure.
He's hot mess Ultimate Bobby with his bandana.
I love Ultimate Bobby. That figure just makes me like this. Anyway, I won't just show you all of these. I just think. Finally, they got an Iceman that looks good, that feels good, that I find appealing visually in many ways, and I'm just very happy to have it. And it's my number one because I love him, and that's it. He's not good, but I love him, and he's mine.
He's a great figure. Listen, the only shade I'm going to throw is the Age of Apocalypse Iceman. Jason knows this because I have spammed his DMs about it. He needed his Rider Strong hair. That's Rick Remender. Age of Apocalypse Iceman, which is a modern version of the character. You need the parted hair, the Joe Mad hair. That is Age of Apocalypse Iceman. But the body mold and the paint job works for me, I think. Yes. Yeah. Yes.
I think that Iceman, that Juggernaut Wave Iceman is absolutely like the best all-purpose Bobby that we've gotten. Like everything else is so specific. Like, you know, you have the classic one that is, I agree, he's a little too pearly, and Smooth Bobby is not my favorite. I like him a little jagged. Then, I agree. I think the Age of Apocalypse, the hair is wrong, and he is, as much as I do love that like blue Jolly Rancher look for Age of Apocalypse Iceman, for some reason it's not working as well as I want it to on that. So I would agree. I would put that Juggernaut Wave Iceman probably as my ideal.
Michelle, you're number one.
Okay. So I remember when this figure was like announced, like I always hit up the Hasbro booth when I go to Comic Con because I like to just see the big old like diorama thing that they do. And I happened to be wearing my Jean Grey with Scott, but like coyly like holding Wolverine's hand off to the side shirt. And one of the Hasbro guys was like, "Oh, that's a really nice shirt." And I'm like, "Oh, thank you." And I'm like, "Jean's my favorite." And he's like, "Oh, I think you should come to the panel later." And then when I came, they announced the Lovers 3-pack. And I'm a sucker for packs. Like, I love it when they pack together figures that make sense. And these figures made sense to me. Also, I was so excited to finally get a 90s Jean Grey figure that I could afford because the Rocket Raccoon one was ridiculous and she wasn't even that cute. So, for my top figure, I'm going to go with the 90s Jean Grey.
Jean Grey stand coming through.
I had to.
The fact that you, me, and Jason were all probably in these panels together and we're like not sitting together geeking out is such a miss. But I have to agree, I geeked out. Like, we all know that I have a complicated history with Ms. Jean Grey, but
this figure's so good.
That figure fucking rocks. And when they revealed the ponytail head, that whole room erupted.
Do you know the controversy, followed by a question, that at San Diego Comic-Con, they had the heads and the hair swapped. And then when they released them, they changed it. And I want to know what the original intention was. I actually like the way they had it at San Diego better. But in your open version, Michelle, you have the ponytail. Do you prefer the ponytail head over the flowy hair?
Well, I prefer the flowy hair, but this is the one that I got opened. And I asked the guy, I was like, "Hey, you got the full hair?" And he's like, "No, I sold that." I was like,
"Oh, you need to figure out how to make hollow hair for these big figures to not weigh them down."
The only thing I want to add is that the Rocket Raccoon Jean, I was very happy with the marbleizing of her, her chest. There was talking about quality control though. In the Rocket Raccoon Wave, there's some Jean Greys that have bags under her eyes, and we call her Sleepy Time Jean Grey because it's literally, she just fainted and she just woke up. It is really awful. I had like 8 of those Rocket Raccoon, and I've sold off the Sleepy Time ones. But the Rocket Raccoon one has the Terry Dodson art of Jean. And Flink, after you and I broke up, I was on the subway and I was just looking at photos of that figure. I'm like, motherfucker, I'm starting to really love the Dodson's arts right now. And I was like, I wanted to talk to you about it, but we were in the middle of our falling out. So,
well, that's okay. Terry Dodson can bring us back together.
Dodsons are amazing.
The Dodsons are amazing. All right, Flink, you're number 1.
This is my number 1 figure for, a lot of reasons. Obviously, because it's one of my very favorite characters, but it's at number 1 because we were basically told, many years ago, this figure would never happen. It was too fetish, too sexy, too female to ever appear at a mass retail. So I just really kind of never expected to get it. And we had to suffer through some really sad versions of this character to get here. And so my number 1 choice is Hellfire Club box set, Emma Frost, full corset, full furry cape, her cute little blonde bob with some highlights, some multicolored blonde in here, some beautiful blue eyeshadow. She's absolutely perfect. I wish she could stand a little bit better, but I can't fault this figure. They could have cheaped out on her in so many ways. Just like the year before, they released like White Rabbit in a Spider-Man wave, and she's got like a white corset that doesn't have like this boning and like lace detail. And I think we all kind of thought like, oh, maybe we'll get a White Queen Emma on the White Rabbit body. And sure enough, we did get an Emma, but they gave us a fully unique corset with like full corset detailing on it. It's absolutely gorgeous. I guess I could share this spot with the Black Queen as well, since they're essentially the same figure with different heads. But I got to give it to my girl Emma. This figure's just fucking flawless.
The Black Queen Jean Grey shares
the
your
Black Queen
number one.
Celine, what? Celine, Queen Celine.
No, that figure, you said it all. I mean, yeah, that figure I love. As a huge Emma fan, it's just perfection. She looks so good. However hard it was to get, it was worth it.
Yeah, just think of what we had to suffer through. Think of all the sour grape Emma faces we had to suffer through before we got this one.
I know people that purchased a Hasbro Pulse Plus account just to make sure that they would be able to get one figure. Yeah, exactly.
Me, I did that, and then I ordered two, and was scared that they were going to cancel my order because it said one per customer. And I called the Hasbro customer service line.
Oh, I remember this. You were such a good human being. You volunteered
I'll cancel one. I just need to make sure I get one. But no, I do have another set. I was gonna sell it, but I can't. The box is too beautiful. The figures are too beautiful. I'm probably gonna hold on to that forever.
I love
the invitation to the Hellfire Club. Oh, that box was amazing.
Oh, I missed out on that.
What, you don't have it? How do you not have what?
You know what? I don't know what I was thinking. I've been searching for it. I will even take them loose. I would really love the box, but yeah. So if anyone wants to sell theirs,
yeah, I'm seeing it. It's not. You know what? It's not so bad on eBay. I'm looking at it right now. It's in the 200s. I know that's pricey.
It was 100 to begin with, so
yeah. So
I think it was 90. I think it was 90.
But yeah, my God, Hover Xavier, the writer Xavier, is going for $115. That's insane.
Gee, I wonder why.
My number one is Lady Deathstrike. I think she is such a wonderful, beautiful figure. I love the sleeves. I think Hasbro really nailed it here with their face. Look at her right there. She looks like she just jumped out of the cartoon. There are some figures that are being produced now, Sue Storm, that don't look as nice as this. And it looks beautiful. And as I was thinking about this figure, I was like, you know what this looks like right here? This mold? Age of Apocalypse Storm's costume.
Absolutely.
So they can repurpose this figure, this beautiful mold, and give us Age of Apocalypse Storm as well. So this is my number one. I think the paint apps look great. I think her hands look very sinister and amazing. I would love to put a Jean Grey, but I think she looks great right here.
I was just going to say, I'm so surprised we got that, considering that they've been so prudish. That's full on nakedness.
Yeah.
But that's how she is, though.
Yeah, and I'm glad. And for folks at home who probably don't know this, we as collectors lived through an era where Walmart and some of the retailers wouldn't take figures who were a bit more scandalously dressed, specifically the female figures. So I'm glad that we have them like this in their comics format where they are empowered and they look fucking badass.
Yeah. I keep a list on my phone of most wanted legends, and it's the most ridiculous high, unlikeliness list. And it's been the same 5 figures forever. We might talk about it in a second. The only one of that 5 in the last 5-6 years that has been checked off is Lady Deathstrike. So it was definitely one that I didn't expect to see because it was in my grail list and we got it.
And I just have to say that for a figure that is predominantly beige, she's a really striking figure. No pun intended.
Jason and us right now, you're number one.
All right. So another thick figure, another figure I never thought we'd get that they did so well, and it has to be Onslaught.
Hell yes.
Yes, absolutely.
This figure is so good. And the story behind this figure is that they only released it as Red Skull, Red Onslaught. And I was like, I don't care. You got me close enough. I'll take it. I'll make my own head, which I immediately did. And then they put the swerve on us and they gave us the head later. And I was just ecstatic that I was actually going to get a non-custom completed version of it. And I love this figure so much. It is the one that every time I pass by my shelf, it always catches my eye. Slightly modernized. It reminds me so much of the video game. And then the real special story about this is after I owned this figure, that was the time that I decided to actually produce this cosplay. And it began my technique of using action figures to make cosplays, because I actually had a 3D model and I could figure out how it was going to look. That was the cosplay that made me an award-winning cosplayer. I think it put my name on the map. So I owe so much to this figure for inspiring me to even do this character, and bringing the love for Onslaught back. So it's very near and dear to me, and it has a lot of history with me. So he will forever be my number one.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, was it being shirtless that made you an award-winning cosplayer?
No.
Oh my god, I love that. And I remember same thing with what you said when we got the Red Onslaught Wave with Sharon Carter. I was like, I'm happy enough with like the Red Onslaught Wave because some of us liked Rick Remender's run, and
some people liked it.
But then when they did the X-Men, that first X-Men wave, Kitty came with the Onslaught head, and I remember we went nuts. I mean, it probably blew up your DMs, Flink.
Oh yeah, I remember they showed it. They showed the Onslaught head at the same time they revealed the Rogue, which was the first figure they revealed from that Juggernaut wave. Honestly, one of the best baths that Hasbro has ever done.
It was like the hardest build a figure for me to eventually get my hands on because I didn't care about the wave at all. Whereas like with like Wendigo, it was like get the wave. Juggernaut, it's like get the wave. Strong Guy, even get the wave and sell a bunch of it. But like Onslaught took me so long to build, and I was just like waiting on it, and I hadn't read anything about Red Onslaught, so I was just so confused why it came with this red skull head, and I was like, what are they doing? This makes no sense. I'm obviously missing something. And then I literally didn't know until I was going through my bag of like Juggernaut stuff that I had an Onslaught head, and I was like, oh my god, I can finish this. It can look good. It can be on my shelf and not have and so it's like, it's got a really close place to my heart too. So love that figure so much.
I had to Google what the Red Onslaught Build-A-Figure looked like because I've had the Onslaught head on it since like the second it came out. Listen, 96 X-Men with Onslaught, that is going to forever be my era. That is peak X-Men for me. No disrespect to the great stories we got with New X-Men and Hoxpox and Mike Carey, but for me, it's always going to be that Joe Mad era that's going to have a special place in my heart where that is the X-Men for me.
I'll tell this story again. I tell it a lot. It's very profound for me. I had stopped reading comics for such a long time. I didn't care anymore. I didn't need to know anything about it. And I still remember the cartoon was great. My mom was driving us through the city. We were at a stoplight, and the stoplight was in front of a comic book store in 1996. And they had a giant cardboard cutout of what Onslaught was to like promote the storyline coming out. And I was like, whoa, like, what is that in that window? I need to know what this story is. I need to know who that character is. And that made me start going back to like the library and reading the Onslaught comic books. That cover of Jean facing off against Onslaught on the cover. And I think it's the issue where she kidnaps her in the dressing room, that iconic story where she finds out about all those secrets of Xavier. That was the book that also got me back into comics in 1996.
In a world full of lies, I will be the only truth. Who am I, Jean Grey? I am a god. And then he like hits her in the head, and then she's in the dressing room and has Onslaught all over her forehead. Yeah.
Just everything about that was so memorable for me.
Okay, this can turn into an Onslaught podcast. Sorry. Anyways, gun to head, Hasbro is granting you one Marvel Legends. You can pick whichever one you want, any character. They're going to make it for you. Which character is it?
I have no idea when we'll get it, but it is 100% Spiral. I need a Spiral deluxe figure on a new body mold. I will be the happiest person in the world.
Wait, how do you feel about the one that they released before?
It's good enough. It's not up on a shelf right now, but we definitely need a new Hasbroized version.
I feel like I would kill. I don't have the Spiral, but like that Spiral I think is still kind of beautiful. But like, well, the one without the helmet I think is my favorite one. But yeah, I was just gonna ask, like, is that one not good enough for you?
No, I've customized it a few times. So I've repainted it. I gave it a new head, and it's still just not piquing my like Spiral ability. I see the customs that are on Instagram, and I'm like, that's what I want. I want that custom looks like.
I feel like for early days of Hasbro and for something unique as a 6-armed warrior woman, they did a pretty good job with it. But yeah, you're right. It doesn't hold up at all. New Longshot, new Spiral, new Mojo, like yesterday.
Well, we should get a 3-pack, with like a Longshot, a Mojo, and a Spiral. Hasbro.
Sold.
But mine, I think it would be, I love Generation X so much, and I would love to have a Husk figure. And ideally, it comes in a 2-pack with her boyfriend, Chamber, because like they're just iconic together. I love an iconic 2-pack. I'm a 2-pack girl, so I'm gonna be greedy, and I need 2. I need Chamber and Husk.
You want that bright pink outfit or which outfit with the yellow accents?
Yeah, Generation X uniforms with the red and then like the big puffy yellow like gloves and boots.
Oh yeah.
Yes. And then Chamber like lights up because he's all.
I'm so big on like finishing teams, but there's the classics that I think I won't even say that everyone would want to sort of finish their teams, but gun to head, that's what makes me choose this one. It's an X2 Bobby Drake, just like de-iced, just a Sean. When they had the 20th anniversary of X-Men and they just gave us like bogus figures, well, bogus to me, I was so disappointed. I want that like original X line in all of their leather suits, all of the matching, all of those like bad toys we got before. And it's only because I'm an Iceman stan. I know that, but gun to head, I would ask for a redo of the X2 Bobby Drake, which I checked on eBay today and they're like $400 for the old school one. Yeah, I got
rich.
Mine. I got
Same.
my guy right here, and I
know.
him.
I have 2 of them.
Yeah,
he was so hard to find. I found him at KB Toys.
Same for like in the 3 for $10 bin.
Yeah. Oh, I remember when you found him for that cheap.
It's like I think the only one of those X figures that has like the amount of articulation that it has. It's like 32 points. Like that was Iceman's big selling point. So yeah, that's gun to head. I want the Hasbro version of that guy, or any de-iced Bobby. Honestly, any de-iced Bobby I'll take.
We need an updated 90s.
That's the one. Yeah, the X-Men movie was like my kind of like very important X-Men moment. So I feel like that's where like any of those figures I'll buy. The original ones. I don't need any Fassbender toys.
Fassbender toys. Speak for yourself.
True. I need one Fassbender toy. We won't talk about that.
What if we did make that figure? I want him to come with a frozen chilled soda pop can and that glass, just to complete that very homoerotic scene that he had. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was hot as fuck.
That Dr. Pepper product placement.
Dr. Pepper right there. All right, Flink, who's your gun to head figure?
I'm sort of like Mike. I'm all about completing teams, and my like gun to head, or like all my wish lists are full of characters that are probably on Hasbro's radar. So I'm going to go out of left field, and I'm going to pick somebody from a team we don't have anyone from. If I had my way, we would be getting a Pixie figure. I love that cast of new X-Men. I think she's got the coolest look. I would want her like more Scotty Young, less Greg Land. And I want her to look like a pixie. And I think she's a long shot. I think that there was maybe a time like 15 years ago, maybe she would have been on their radar, but I think she's like so completely off their radar now that I am going to make it my personal mission starting now to make sure that Pixie is on Hasbro's radar.
I have no qualms with that. I'm looking forward to Pixie striking back.
Oh Jesus!
Oh no!
So for anyone who hasn't listened to me and Dayspring's early podcasting Generations of X, we had a rather contentious debate over the miniseries Pixie Strikes Back. I'm sure you can guess which one of us was pro Pixie and which one of us was not. Decidedly not.
We were so Paris Hilton and Nicole Richie when we were recording.
Almost ended our friendship.
Mine is going to be Doug Ramsey. I want Doug Ramsey, Krakoan era, with the Warlock sword and the arm in his cute little jacket. I want it. We need it. And we do know that a New Mutants male version figure is coming with Cannonball, Doug, maybe Sunspot. That's sort of been on the talk, officially, on the back burner, but I need it to be Krakoan era. That's it. It needs to be Doug in his Ten of Swords outfit.
I agree.
That seems likely, actually, because he's so in the spotlight right now.
Well, where's Captain Britain? We haven't even gotten that one.
Wave 2.
Wave two, right there.
So I'm, of course, Nerd Alert Cosplay on Instagram and a little bit on TikTok. And if you want to follow my personal escapades, that's not just a nerd, also on Instagram. Coming up, my next convention is San Diego Comic-Con. Hopefully I have new X-Men related costumes for that I'm working on that I'll keep secret for now. But yeah, look forward to that.
You can find me on Instagram or Twitter at Michelle Waffle-Otero. I don't tweet that much. I'm on Instagram a little bit more. Also have a joint account with my husband at adventures.in.geekdom, where we chronicle our toy hunting and comic book collecting adventures. Projects coming up. I've got a panel hopefully getting approved with Paul for San Diego Comic-Con, because that's how we're going to get our tickets to go.
It is shady the way we're doing this. We were like, okay,
well, no,
fine,
I mean, we also love, so we love X-Men. So we're hoping to get a panel approved with some of the X-Men animated series creators and voice casts. That should be a lot of fun. We know Larry Houston and Dan Biesenmeyer are going for sure. So if we can get anybody else involved, that would be fantastic. Also, I'm hoping to have another premiere coming up since I missed the last Multiverse of Madness one. Working on some cosplays for that. And yeah, and then just, slinging comic books every Wednesday night for Dreamworld Collectibles on their Instagram.
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram at Flinkman. I'm going to be hopefully appearing here on Power of X-Men a lot more frequently. I'm also getting back to doing some convention hopping. And this summer you can catch me at Ranger Stop and Pop in Atlanta, and then San Diego Comic-Con, obviously in San Diego.
My name is Michael Ham, and you can find me on Instagram at michael.ham.cosplay if you want to see the cosplay stuff. If you're looking for the less family-friendly version of what I'm doing, you can check that out on Instagram at Hammy73. That made it sound dirty. It's not that dirty. It's just my regular life stuff and some shirtless things. And yeah, I live in Canada, so my next con is YetiCon in Toronto, followed up by Kelowna Comic Con in BC, and then hopefully Dragon Con following that. And yeah, in terms of what I'm working on costume-wise, I think the things that will be most interesting to this group of people and listeners is in August, I'm dyeing my hair blonde. So I will be doing a Doug Ramsey, a Boom Boom, and a blue suit Dazzler.
Fuck.
So stay tuned.
Yes.
MG.
Oh, you just won over the whole panel.
The whole chat.
As if we haven't been stans of yours for years. Now we're even bigger stans.
Blondes have more fun. That's all I can say.
I'm at Power of X-Men on Instagram. Sometimes I tweet. Please don't follow us there because you will be thoroughly disappointed. In terms of what we have coming up, Michelle and I had a great interview that we were really excited for, but we're just told we can't air it. And so we have Steve Orlando coming up, and we are plowing through Age of Apocalypse, which we're really excited for. We have Flink on those episodes. Michelle, Scott, and I had a fun time, and Flink was joining the fold there. And yeah, we have a lot of other things coming up on the horizon as they get confirmed. See you next time, guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye.